Welcome to the Plato Paradigm, a paradigm shift in reading Plato's dialogues. Episode 232, Lysis 216b to d. Menexenus has rather hastily escaped from falling into the eristic trap of choosing one option or the other by denying both options, but this only leads to further problems. By denying both that the hostile is a friend or friendly to the friendly, and the friendly is friendly to the hostile, Menexenus has effectively agreed to the premise that the friendly is not friendly to its opposite. And this follows the argument Socrates had with Lysis, which ended up with them concluding that the friendly is not friendly to the same or its like. Socrates now continues with a few more examples of the friendly not being friendly with its opposite. Ala to dikaion to adiko, eto sophron to akolasto, eto agathon to kako. Ukan moidoke hutos echen. But is the just friendly to the unjust, or the sound-minded to the unsound-minded, the reckless, or the good to the bad? It doesn't seem to me to be thus. Why does Menexenus so readily agree that this is not the case? With justice, one might be forgiven for thinking that judges are hostile to the unjust by regarding punishment as a bad thing rather than as a corrective. I have more of a problem with the idea that the sound-minded is not friendly to the reckless. For example, Menexenus should have thought about his own position as the son of a father who clearly knows what he's doing. The father should be considered sound-minded, and the boy is obviously reckless, and it's unlikely that the father doesn't care about his son. The sound-minded in that case would be friendly to the reckless. But I think Menexenus is now in the argument. He's already decided that all cases of opposites are not friendly to each other. There is even more of a problem with the third pair, the good and the bad. Surely, if anyone is friendly to anyone, it would be the good to the bad. It's the job of the good to improve the situation of the bad. We should note that in all of these cases, Socrates mentions only the positive in relation to the negative. He doesn't now consider the opposite direction. Obviously, the unjust and the reckless and the bad will not be friendly to their opposites, but the positive side, you would think, should be friendly to their opposites. Socrates now formulates the problem arising from Menexenus's disagreement. I say disagreement, but it seems to me that Menexenus knows what he is expected to say. He's probably thinking that he would become a laughingstock if he agreed that positive things are friendly to negative things in general. Ala mentoi endego, eperge kataten enantiote tati to philon estin, ananke kai tauta phila enai. Ananke. But, I said, If indeed something is friendly to something according to the opposite, it's necessary that these are friendly. It's necessary. Menexenus agrees. What else can he do? And we see that Menexenus, just like Lysis, is quite passive in his ability to argue. Uta arato homoion to homoio, ute to enantion to enantio philon. Uk oiken. So the like isn't friendly to the like, nor is the opposite friendly to the opposite. It doesn't seem. If Socrates had left it there, we would have two boys possibly convinced that no one can be friends of anyone, because you can't be a friend to someone who's like you can't be a friend to someone who's the opposite of you, and they may not have considered the possibility, even though Menexenus is an expert on euristics at the age of 12 or 13, the problem here is that they have been talking in absolutes, virtually the identical and the opposite. But people are not at these extremes. They are somewhere in the middle, and Menexenus should have said something about this, being the expert that he is on euristics, but he hasn't. We may suspect that he isn't such an expert on euristics. Socrates doesn't spell out the point, but he does consider, in a rather eristic way, what is between the two extreme points. Etide kai todes skepsometha, me eti malon he mas lanthane to philon hos alethos udentuton on ala to metagathon metakakon philon huto protegik nomenon tu agathu. Pos ed hos leges. But next, let us consider this, that we may be missing the point that the friendly is none of these, but that it is the not good and the not bad coming to be in some way, which is a friend of the good. How do you mean? He said. Socrates has deliberately formulated the middle ground between two extremes in a way which sounds unintelligible. He's just saying that it isn't the good or the bad, rather than saying that it is something between the good and the bad. It's on a spectrum. One reason for not saying that is that the fuzzy area between two extremes is rather difficult for people to understand. One other reason is that this will allow Socrates to have an eristic refutation at some point, because he's still using eristic language and techniques. Menexenus wants an explanation, so Socrates doesn't give him the correct explanation, but something to confuse the issue even more. Ala ma dia indego, uk oida, ala to onti autos elengio hypotes tu logu apurias, kai kindoniue kataten archaian paroimian to kalon philon enai. Menexenus had asked, how do you mean? And now Socrates said, by Zeus, I don't know, I said, but really I myself am dizzy from the aporia of the argument. The aporia is the lack of answers, the problematics of the logos. And as the old proverb says, the beautiful happens to be friendly. Just as to agathon is the abstraction of all good things, being the good, so to kalon is the beautiful, an abstraction of all beautiful things. However, in Greek there already is a term for beauty, and this is to kallos, the beautiful, the beauty, or beauty itself. The difference between to kalos and the philosophical to kolon is that the conventional word for beauty refers mainly to aesthetic beauty, while to kolon is a far wider usage of anything which appears to be good. This, however, is not a point Socrates makes here, but if we want to know what is not good and not bad, this could possibly be an answer, that what appears to be good may sometimes be good, but may often not be good. So it's in the middle between good and bad. Socrates, however, confuses the issue by making to kolon sound as if it refers to beautiful boys. Eoi ke kun malakotini kai leo kai liparo. It seems at any rate to be like someone soft and smooth and glistening with oil. He's clearly describing here the boys themselves after their service, ceremony, or whatever in the palaestra. They may understand, if they wish, that Socrates is saying that their beauty is friendly. However, Socrates immediately turns this into a negative. Dio kai isos radios dio listaine kai dia duetai hemas hate toiuton on. For this reason, perhaps, it is easily escaping us, slipping through our fingers, or slipping away in general. There are two verbs here to do with being slippery with oil, being such a thing. So Socrates is likening to kolon, the beautiful, to a slippery boy who is hard to hold on to. Legogar tagathon kolon enai, suduk oye egoge. For I say that the good is beautiful, don't you think? I do indeed. In the Greek world, this is uncontroversial. The good and the beautiful are considered to be virtually the same. Even a citizen of Athens, especially the noble class of Athenians, are termed kaloi kagathoi, beautiful and good. The word kalos can be better translated as fine rather than beautiful. Fine covers both beautiful and apparently good. If something looks good, then it's fine. If something is fine, it is assumed to be good. In Socratic dialogues, this usually leads to a disaster in the argument.